it's Carol from Cape Cod Cottage Garden, and it's finally seed starting time, so come along. So if you're new to my channel, just a reminder, I grow on Cape Cod, Mass, Zone 7B, and my last frost date is supposedly April 18th. I always take that with a little grain of salt and just watch the weather when I get closer. I usually don't put any frost-sensitive plants in the ground till mid-May or late May. But today I'm gonna be sowing the things that I like to get started early. The first thing I'm gonna be sowing is onions. Last year I did an experiment on different ways to grow onions using different media, different size pots, so on and so forth. And what I learned is that using potting mix instead of seed starting mix really gave me bigger onions. It was very apparent all the way through the process that the potting mix was the way to go. So I'm gonna repeat that today and use potting mix instead of seed starting mix and planting my onions. And the onions I'm going to be planting are, I'm gonna plant just a regular onion, a New York early onion. I have the seed packets here, but they don't have pictures. I got these from Johnny's. I'm also going to be planting my favorite red onion, which is Rosa di Milano. I didn't grow this last year and I really regretted it because it is, one, it was very prolific, and two, it's tasty, but three, it is the most gorgeous color. I'm not sure I have a picture of one, but if I do, I'll pop it in. I don't remember if I have one on record, but you slice into it, it's this beautiful purple color. It's just gorgeous. But that's the Rosa di Milano. I don't have a picture because I got it from Johnny. The third onion I'm gonna grow, I grew this variety for the first time last year. Great success, we're still eating them. They stored fantastic, and they were the biggest onions I've ever grown. I don't know if that was the potting mix or the variety, but I'm sticking with this variety, and it's the Walla Walla onion. And one more plant in the onion family, which is, it's really an onion, but it's a shallot. I'm gonna be growing Zabroon shallots. I grew these last year. I love shallots. Sometimes when you just want a little bit of a mild flavor of onion instead of that real strong onion taste, I use my shallots. And I use them a lot when I need a small onion and I don't have any. I'll just grab a shallot. The other things I hope to get started today is celery. And I'm growing this year Utah tall celery. And I'm growing this year Utah, why can't I say Utah? Thank you. I'm growing, one more time, Carol, I'm growing Utah tall celery. I could not say that. I grew this variety last year and it was fabulous. It never went to flower. I pulled it out of the ground, the remnants of it, I think in October, and it still hadn't gone to flower through all of the heat of the summer. So the year before I grew a different variety, I can't remember what it was. It went into flower very early in the summer. So I barely got any celery out of it. I mean, obviously the celery in October was not edible, but it still didn't go to flower. So I did use a lot of this. So I'm gonna grow that. And just two flowers I'm gonna try to sow today, and that is Antique Shades Viola. I'll have to put a picture in because it's another Johnny's packets. These are from last year. I hope they're still viable. They should be. And then these pansies, just a mixed, it's called Trimado, mixed colors pansies from Burpee. I just picked these up at my local Ocean State job lot. I'm not sure where you're watching from. It is, I believe Ocean State job lot is just in New England. It's a discount store. And I got these for like $1, these packages. So that was pretty good. If you're new and you're not aware, I do grow on Cape Cod, Mass. But right now my house is being renovated. So I am at my other residence off Cape Cod. And the problem is I don't have all my supplies here. I brought up one grow light, so I have to be very stingy with what I start up here. But then I realized I don't have enough pots to put my seeds in. So I'm gonna start the 4 onions in these pots and just kind of broadly seed them in these pots. And because onions, they're very easily to pry apart. Like I'm gonna overload these pots with onions, and then I know when I go to plant them, I just soak them in water. And if you watch that video, you'll see me doing that. I soak them in water, get the soil off, and just pry them apart and plant them in the ground. So I have enough for the 4 onion varieties I'm doing. And I'll have to find containers to do the flowers and the celery. And I also do plan on doing some winter sowing too to get me over the hump of not being at my garden. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is dump some of my potting mix into my bucket. It's kind of weird doing this in my kitchen too because it makes a mess. And down the Cape, I have my grow room in the basement. Oh, it was the first year I used it last year. I had it set up. It was so great. And if you hear click, clicking, it's because my dog is here. Come here, Mort. Come say hi. Say hi to the camera, guys. So that's what you hear in the background. Click, click, clicking as he's walking around. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to put some water in to moisten it. Give it a stir. This soil does seem really nice. It's lofty and light. There is some big sticks in it, which I find with a lot of the soil mixes, see? And I don't have a strainer up here. That's the other thing I don't have up here. So I'm just gonna have to make do. Just a little bit more liquid, I think. I like to get it so it holds together, but it's not dripping wet. There we go. Just mix that in real well, just so it's evenly moistened. Let's fill these up. Got my 10-20 tray. I'm not going to fill them to the very top. Onions like to be a 1/4 inch deep. So I'm going to keep it just a little bit. It's kind of hard to see because it's black on black. Just fill it and give it a little stamp down. Guys, my dog Morty absolutely hates living here because it is a condo and he has to be walked on a leash at all times. There's no free running here. So he's, I might say, a little bit obnoxious when we're here because he wants to go out every 10 minutes. So you might hear him barking or scratching at the door, even though I just took him for a really long walk, maybe 45 minutes ago. Anyways, so that's that. So here we go. I'm gonna add just a little bit more to these. Because it will settle a little bit more than that. I do kind of pick out any big pieces or break up any clumps. There we go. So what I usually do to label my pots is I just put a piece of tape and I write down the variety on the side of the pot. And again, the follies of not being in my normal grow space, I don't have that tape. I was trying to rack my brain for an idea of how am I gonna label these? They're black, so I can't just write on them with the Sharpie. And then I remembered my friend Steph from Hooked and Rooted. I'll link her channel below. She had this video out recently about a tip she uses in her garden, and she said she came up with a great idea to use plastic knives. I have a bunch of these left over because it feels like the forks get used up, but the knives really don't. And she says she uses these, she writes on these and uses these as label markers. Hello. Instead of just throwing them away, it's a good use of them. So that's what I'm gonna do. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and label all my knife labels. So I marked my knives with the variety and the date of all the onions, and now I can start sewing them. So first I'm gonna start with New York Early, so I'm just gonna place my knife in. You know what, they're kind of tall. I wonder if I can break it. Let's see. Oh, that worked. Yeah, that's better. New York Early, there we go. This is a great idea. I love it. Sorry the lighting isn't great. That's the other thing here. I don't have my lights or anything here. So New York Early. The other thing I'm gonna try to be really good about this year, I have my little garden journal that I got this year. I wrote in that I'm sowing the onions today, but I'm really gonna look at the days to maturity and write it in like when the harvest time is. So I can like better know how long these things actually take in my garden environment. You know, every environment is different. First seeds of the year, guys. Whoop, whoop. You guys have probably all seen onion seeds before, but here they are. That's kind of too many probably because I'm probably won't sow all of those. But I'm just gonna sprinkle them in. Try to spread them out the best I can, but this is what I'm dealing with this year. It's a little different circumstances than I normally do. And onion seeds really aren't great to last from year to year. The germination rates drop pretty quickly, so I'm gonna be very liberal with this. And maybe if I get back down to the Cape soon, hopefully I'm gonna go this week, I can pick up some more supplies. And I can always stop more of these after. But that's it for the New York earlies. And then I'll do the Rosa di Milano. Break the sticks. There we go. Easy enough. Not much difference. You would never be able to tell the difference in the varieties. These seeds feel a little smaller than the seeds that I just did, the New York earlies, but not by much. Ooh! Ooh! That one broke crazy. Almost took out my light with that one. These are the Walla Wallas. I love MI Gardener because their seeds are inexpensive, but sometimes they don't have massive quantities. And most of the time I don't want massive quantities because they just go to waste. This one has 75 though. I think they're kind of proving me wrong about that. Because the last time I said that, I looked at the package and there was like 200 seeds in the package. For $2, can't beat that. And I just like his message because he wants people to grow their own food and make it accessible to everyone, which I think is so important. I mean, most of the reason why I film a lot of my gardening videos is because I really do it for myself, because it really helps me keep track of what I'm doing and to see my progress. But also I really want to encourage people to try to grow their own food. One, it's so much more nutritionally dense when you pick it and eat it right away. You can grow so many different varieties from seed that you can't just buy in the grocery store. And plus that stuff in the grocery store has been on its way for months and months before it hits your table. But that's another reason why I do this channel. I want to show people that even beginners can do this because, as I said, I'm a novice gardener. This is my 3rd year starting seeds. So that is by no means an expert and very far from it. And I have been really, really successful, guys. Oh, Sabroon shallots. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. Is it work? Yes, it's work. I happen to enjoy it. It's a very big stress reliever for me. These are the shallots, by the way. To get your hands in the soil and just connect with nature. I've always been a little bit of a nature's girly. I love the outdoors. That's why I really kind of go stir crazy when I'm here. Because like I said, it is a condo and I never stay in the house. So it's hard for me because we don't really have a yard here. We have a very, very small yard. Oh my gosh. Can you hear Mr. Morty in the background? One of the bedrooms in here has carpet and he likes to sleep in there on the carpet and he like scratches and scratches and scratches the carpet before he lays down. Like he's digging a hole. Can you guys hear that? I'm afraid I'm overseeding these guys, but I'm desperate because I just don't have the supplies I need right now. Okay, so all of these onions and the shallots say they want to be 1/4 inch deep. So I'm just going to sprinkle some more potting soil on top. Here we go. It's kind of hard to see black on black on black, unfortunately. Here we go. Yay! First seeds sown. The 2025 gardening season is officially underway. In order to beat the winter blues and doldrums here, living in the condo and not getting outside, last week I went to this place in Connecticut. I think it's like one of the oldest greenhouses in New England, but it's called Logie's. And I took some footage there of the plants in the greenhouses. Oh my gosh, look forward to that in an upcoming video. I did buy 3 house plants. I've been doing a lot with my house plants because I'm losing my mind. Locked in this house with no way really nothing to do outside because I don't have a garden here. And I can't walk on the beach here or do any of my Cape Cod things that I like to do. But I'm hoping my house is going to be livable in the next couple of weeks. Even though it won't be pleasant, I'll be able to go down there and stay. But anyways, that garden center, Logie's with the greenhouses, they had the most incredible things there. It was really, really, really like going to a museum. It was amazing. There we go. Give them a little light pat. And I think I will mist these just a little bit, just to settle the soil around the seeds a little bit. And I'm just gonna give them a little mist. I have one of those. I'll show you my mister. So this is what I'm using to water. I have this pump sprayer. It's made by Scott's, but you can get any kind you want. It's a manual pump where you just pump it to create the pressure, and then it has a little nozzle you can spray. I find it really helpful, and just when I want to water some seedlings in. So I'm going to grow my flowers and the celery in my Bootstrap Farmer 6-cell pots. They have the big holes in the bottom. And I'm just going to scoop up the soil. It's a little bit pre-moistened. Give it a bang. And what I do is I just thumb press it down. You don't want to jam it in there, but you want to make sure you don't have big air pockets. So just thumb press it down, then fill it again. Just like that. So I think I'm going to do 18 violas, 18 pansies, and 6 celery. The celery does produce a lot, so I don't want to have a ton of plants. I don't even need 6, but I'll give some to my cousins and my daughter, as I usually do. So I'm just making do with what I have. I mean, normally I would probably strain this medium because this potting soil does have a lot of chunks in it. But I don't have my strainer. That just proves my point that plants and seeds, they want to grow. You don't need to have everything the best or everything perfect in order for it to work. So I do encourage everybody to try. And you know what? You'll make mistakes, but that's okay. I make mistakes all the time, but you know what? I learn something every single time I step in the garden. I really do. I learned so much over the last 3 years working in my garden, both flowers and veggies. Prior to this, I did have a small garden at my old other house. It was like one raised bed and that was it. And I think I grew in it for maybe 2 years. But my mom and my grandfather were huge gardeners. I wish I paid more attention. But you never know what you can do until you try. You don't want to stomp it down like really tight. You want those seeds to have a chance to get through the soil without too much work. First up, the Utah tall celery. Celery seeds are tiny, guys. If you've ever done any cooking with them, you know. Oh my gosh, so crazy tiny. Let me show you. Can you see? Tiny, tiny, tiny. So for that, I am gonna use my little pincers. I got these really cheap off the Amazon, but they work great. I don't wanna have to pick these out, so I am gonna take the time and just plant one per cell. Maybe I'll do 2. So I'm not gonna have you sit here while I that's pretty boring. So I'll come back after I sow these. So here are the viola seeds. They're also very small, but they're much easier to handle. They're round. And this is when this comes in handy a lot. So what I do for these, it says just slightly cover. So I just make a tiny little divot, not deep at all, in the soil, just like that. And then I just pop one in each cell. So then I just gently cover them over. Just like that, and then I'll move on to pansies. So I ended up doing another 6-pack full of violas because I wanted to use them up because there was only a little bit of seeds left. I doubled up a couple too, just to use them up. And that's another good reason why your garden journal comes into play, because I will write down that I used up all my viola seeds, so next year I'll know to order more. So here are the pansies. Similar to the violas. And I'm just gonna plant those up. Mr. Momo has joined me right there. Hi, Momo. Are you gonna come say hi to the camera? Oh, you are. Hello. Very interesting, isn't it? He like watches everything I do. And once you get those planted up, just gently cover them over. And then I'm gonna cover everything I planted with some fine vermiculite, just like that. This helps retain moisture and also helps keep like that green algae that can grow on top. I find that it helps anyways. Momo, you're so funny. He's the sweetest cat in the world. Curious. I think he has a little bit of a following. People love my Mr. Momo. And the last step is I'll just mist these over and put them under the lights. I will give you an update in a week or so when these things hopefully start to emerge, germinate. And then the hard part is I'll have to move all of this stuff back down the Cape when I go back down. So these little plants do have a journey ahead of them. And I'm just gonna mist all these in, move my seeds out of the way. Very light mist. I just realized I don't have a humidity dome here either. Oy. I'm gonna have to just put some saran wrap over it, I guess, so I can get back and get a humidity dome. Guys, that's gonna have to do for now. So that's gonna do it for today, folks. We get our first seeds sown. I'm so excited for the 2025 growing season. Up next, I'm probably gonna do some winter sowing here. I actually do have a south-facing deck here that would probably be great for that. So I think I will put a few things out. So look forward to that video and the video of the field trip I took to Connecticut to go to Logies. So until next time, guys, get out there and grow. Bye.